Hey everybody, welcome to your Mojo Moment for the day. I am Deborah Kagan and we do these Mojo Moments Monday through Friday at the 1 p.m. Pacific hour. And you know, this started as an experiment for those of you that are tuning in for the first time. It started as an experiment of doing lives on a regular basis. And so here we are, into the hundreds now. And it's all about offering you inspiration, information, tips and tools to be able to rock your mojo the majority of the time. And as I always say, in terms of rocking your mojo, you can rock your mojo 98% of the time. And why do I say 98%? Well, because 100%, there's that 2% that is left for the moments when we actually need to process or decompress or kind of go through a bit of processing emotional stuff, a funk, actually let ourselves feel some intensity. And that 2% of the time, it's realistic, frankly. And I think healthy to give yourself that opportunity, not to stress out like, oh my God, I have to rock my mojo 100% of the time. We are all spirit beings having a human experience, and our humanity is definitely flawed. So here I am to talk to you about today's Mojo Moment, which is really about your own personal narrative and having more compassion for yourself based on the narrative of your life. Now, I want to be really clear about this. It's not about utilizing your life and what's occurred in terms of that narrative to not be confident, to be lazy, or to not tap into your mojo or create an incredible life for yourself, because everybody's been through stuff. Like, everybody has a story and everybody has been through challenges. But I'm actually flying back to California today, and the interesting thing, I just went to my 30th high school reunion, and it was spectacular. It was really, really very special, actually, and it inspired today's Mojo Moment. And again, talking to you about personal narrative, and and the places where we come from. Now, we all have certain memories of our lives, and we'll forget some things, and we'll remember some things, and we're going to have our own version of a memory, right? You talk to two people who grew up in the exact same house at the exact same time, and they're going to have different memories of the exact same situation. And that, of course, is based on our own perspective and the way that we develop and how we feel about ourselves. So when it comes to looking at our narrative, and I talked about this the other day actually in a Mojo Moment. If you didn't see the Mojo Moment about everything happening for us, I encourage you to go check that one out. But when you look at your narrative, my suggestion is that you look at it, that everything actually did happen for you, right? And when I look back, and especially after this weekend of I went to a boarding school actually. And so I lived at high school, which is amazing for many reasons. And, when you look back on some of those experiences and actually I got to be on, the campus where I lived and where I went to school, and actually see some of my teachers, I realized these moments, these flashes that would pop up, and it literally was, oh my goodness. Like, this teacher did that thing actually for my benefit and to really help me. And sometimes it didn't seem like that at the time. And it was great. I actually got to thank a couple of them over this weekend and say, you know what, you really did support me in so many ways. And so I'm sharing this with you for you to consider looking at your narrative and looking at the story that you tell yourself about your life. And we talk about these things a lot on Mojo Moments, because what you do tell yourself and the stories you tell yourself and what you believe, because you tell yourself a story long enough, you will believe it, are what will affect your mojo. Now, it could affect your mojo positively, or it could affect your mojo and have a detriment to it and turn the volume dial down. We're looking at turning the volume dial up on your mojo. And see, you have the authority and you have the power to control and to create your own narrative. Now, maybe there's certain things that have happened before this moment that you're like, you know what, Deborah? There's no way I'm going to change that narrative. That's the facts. That's what happens, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, cool. Consider, though, the narrative that you're telling yourself from this moment, right now, from this moment on. What are you going to, what is the narrative you're going to write for yourself? Is it one where you are going to have a mojolicious life? Is it a narrative where you are the person that gets to create your most mojolicious life? Is it a narrative where you have loving and constructive and supportive and, incredibly powerful relationships and connections? Is it a narrative where, all good things happen to you all the time? Because all the time, all good things happen. What about that as a narrative? So really consider today, as you go forward, what is the narrative and what are the narratives, right? These stories that you're telling yourself. And particularly the ones, of course, about you. Yes, there are narratives that we get into about the world at large and certain people and certain situations, and you got to check those too. But the very first thing, get in check with the narratives you say about yourself and your life and what's possible for you. Because honestly, whatever you think, and that is a narrative, right? Whatever you're thinking, you will create it. So what, my lovely, lovely out there, what are you creating? All right, that's it for today. Happy day. And I'm so glad you tune in for these. It's great. They are exclusively being aired on this page, the Mojo Recovery Specialist page. And if there's someone in your life, of course, that this would benefit, go ahead and tag them below. You can also share this out with your to your feed and to your people. And really, the more of us that have a mojolicious life, the better the whole world is going to be. So start with you, because wherever you are, there you are, and then spread it outwards. All right, everybody, sending you so much love, and I'll see you on the next Mojo Moment. Bye for now.